we didn't give her a dime, and she got a full-time job at the Y because we could afford her. And somebody else had said earlier, I think it was Matt Walton, had said that Cha embodied what our church is, like our core values, biblically centered, outwardly focused, radically generous, and personally involved. I don't know if there's a better example of that. And I'm not saying that there's not a lot of other examples. I'm just saying I don't know if there's a better example of what makes Grace Church than who Cha is and kind of her vibe. Like, that's just her. And so I think for 2 years, and she just served voluntary. She's a volunteer. She essentially had 2 full-time jobs, but only one home paid. That's essentially what it was. And then along the way, you did become like a little sister. And that's why this is different for me. Because it's not like it's a staff member who's leaving, but it's personal because Cha's Grace Church OG. Like when Cha came to Grace Church, there were only 150 people. So there's 2,250 people that have never seen a Grace Church without Cha's fingerprints all over it. So, sorry, I was thinking of the poetic what you say, and I was like, oh, that's precious. You made me cry. Not only did she help us build the church, she helped us, grow the church, but she helped us grow our family, raise our kids. And like our church. I mean, some of you guys were part of Grace Church back when there were only 150 of us when we were one service, right? And there's just a few of us. But what's neat is that God's not done with Grace Church, so it's almost like every iteration of Grace Church has become the foundation of everything that's come next. So everybody here is a part of the foundation of Grace Church because you helped us build what came after you becoming a part of our church family, which I think is beautiful. But there's very few people that were here when nobody was here, right? Like way back when we were still trying to figure out what it meant for Grace Church to be on mission with God. And Cha helped shape what that became. And I am unbelievably grateful to God for you. As a staff member, you've been phenomenal because you didn't give your time, you gave your heart. Because I don't want to pay people for time. Like if we need more time from you, we'll compensate so that you can let go of the other responsibilities. But the only thing we've ever wanted from anybody is your heart, which is the same thing God gave, but you gave your heart first, which I think is great. And I'm talking longer than I wanted to, but that happens all the time. Billie Jane loves online church because I'm preaching 27-minute sermons. So that's the way that goes. But Cha's going to leave a hole that is going to be filled by other people. It's just not going to be filled by one person, because what we do with each one of you guys that are on staff at the end of the year, we ask you what you like doing, what you don't like doing, and we try to take off stuff you don't like doing and add more stuff that you do like doing, so that your position can start to evolve into a perfectly designed role for you, right? And Cha started as a middle school director, and she ended up overseeing the missions program for the entire church. And she started with a budget of $5,000 for middle school, and she ended up running a budget of $400,000 for missions. She's the front door for all mission projects and partnerships for Grace Church. She's the face of Grace Church for all 3 locations. She's been on screen more consistently than anybody else because it doesn't matter who's preaching that day or who's leading worship. Cha's the one who welcomes everybody to our church family and says goodbye to everybody from our church family. Anybody in Stoke, they don't know Sean, they'll know Cha. Like, oh, you're the pastor of Cha's church. Yeah, I guess that's what I am. Right? And so that's great. If each of us do want to be remembered this way, so each of us need to live that way.